Welcome to this beginner's tutorial in Avid Media Composer. So before we begin, you can download the Avid Media Composer first, which is free from the Avid website. So you need to create an account and it will download the software and also something called as the Avid link. So you need to log into that first and then go to this products and then open the Media Composer from here. So now the Media Composer software will be launched. After Media Composer has launched, the first step is to create a project. To create a project, you can enter the name here, project, and then you can select a location. So I have selected a location here, and you can hit the create button. So now Media Composer has created your project, and this is the interface. So you can see different tabs here. So let's take a look at the interface. So every project will be created with two bins. So you can see that two bins have been created here. This is the windows used for editing. So this is the preview window on the left, and this is the sequence window where whatever you edit will be seen. So this is the timeline where you will be editing the project. So when creating a new bin, Media Composer first has restriction to only 5 bins. So if you create new bin, you can give a name to the bin. For example, let's write video. So the bins are the place or a folder where you store your files like the audio, video, your graphics, etc. So you have different views for this. Different bin views, as you can see. Let's take a look at the settings. Go to File, Settings. So under the users, you can see this audio ducking. So audio ducking is when you record something or you say a dialogue and the music automatically dips. So you can set this different parameters for that to work. Next is the bin. So what you have to do is you have to change this autosave interval to 5 minutes so that you don't lose any work which you have done. This double click should be set as source or record monitor. So if you are new to video editing, you may find some of these settings a bit confusing, but it will be explained in the future lessons. So this is the bin settings. Now the next thing is the bin view. So you can change the way by which you can view the bins here. So if I go and open this bin, you can see that it opens up here, and there are like many ways to view that bin here. So this is the bin view. So you can go under this. You can view in different ways. Now the next is the import settings. So import settings is applied when you import a file into Avid. So you have this many settings like the alpha channel, which you can set automatically. So you don't have to change every time. There is also this still images duration. You can set a default value for that. Now let's move on to this interface. So interface is basically, you can change how this interface looks. You can change the color. You can even make it like a rainbow if you require. So usually you don't change this. You can use this itself. Now let's move on to the media creation. So this is the media creation. So usually when you import a file, you need to convert it into a proper format so that Avid recognizes this. So we'll be looking into this in the next lessons. So there are many like formats to which you can convert your files and the drive to which you need to save. Okay, then let's move on to this most important thing, that is the keyboard setting. So you can see that there are three settings. So this is the default keyboard layout. So this is the default keyboard layout of Avid. So if you need to assign a particular function to a keyboard key, you cannot directly change this. You need to use another feature called the command palette. So you can go down here and select this command palette. So command palette is basically, it maps each and every keyboard shortcuts. So it will show you each and every keyboard shortcuts which Avid uses. So if I need to like do this change, the add edit, I need to assign this to this F4 key. What I need to do is I need to just simply drag and drop this on this. So now F4 will perform this add edit function. So it is better to like not change the settings, default settings, so you can learn it easily. We will cover the different keyboard shortcuts in the next lessons. Let's start importing files. You have to select the bin, double click on this, and this bin will open up. You have to import files using the source browser. So you have to right click input source browser. And you have to navigate to where your files are. You can download the files given in the link in this lesson. So you have to place the files somewhere on your hard drive. So I am going to this MXF, and you can see some files here. You can view the source browser in both text view, frame view. So to import a file, you make sure that the link is selected. Double click and link. So you can see this video icon and a chain. This means that the file is linked. And if you double click on a file, you can see that it opens up in the source window. Let's take a closer look at the bins. So the bin is where you will be storing your video files. So there are many ways you can view the files. You can also expand this by dragging here, or you can drag this and it will open up separately. So you can have a closer look at this. So there are three views. This text view, this frame view, and this is the script view. So in this frame view, you can move the clips around. You can play a clip by hitting the JKL keys. If you hit the L key, it will play forward, K key to stop, and J key to play it backwards. This is the view in which you can add comments to a particular file if you need. You can give, like, this is a building, this is girl. So you can give different comments to describe the video files. The other thing is you can customize these columns in the bins. So you can go and add different columns. To do that, you can go to this and add custom columns, or you can choose the different columns which you need to add. So if you need to add this, for example, image size, you can hit OK, and that image size will be added. To add a custom column, you can hit this add custom column, and you can name this column whatever you require. So this custom column has been added. You can rename a column by right clicking and hitting the rename column and giving a name to that. You can zoom in on the clips, make it larger. There is also an option to add different colors to different clips. So you can right click and you can add a specific color. And you can also sort according to that colors. Also, you can even change the background color. Let's start understanding the basic editing process. So here in the bins, you have the clips bin and the sequences bin. So the sequences is when you start with the editing, it will create a timeline with every clips which you use for the editing. The sequences is collection of the clips which you will be used to make your final videos. So as it is written here, drag clips. So don't drag clips. What we have to do is you have to select a clip and it will open up here as shown here, and you have to set in and out point. To set the in point, you have to hit the I button and hit the O button. So you have selected this much portion of the clip. You can also clear this markers here. You can also click on this mark in here to mark the portion of the clip which you require. So I have marked the in and out points, and you can drag this down to begin with editing, but I suggest that you use the keyboard shortcuts. So B is the shortcut for overwrite edit. So if you hit the B button, you can see that this clip has been loaded into this timeline, and it has added a video track and 2 audio tracks. So this is the timeline where you will be editing the clip. So this clip has been brought into the timeline. So if you need to add another clip, let's select this clip. So let's select a portion of this clip. Again hit the I and select this portion, O button. And when you hit the B key, you can see that it is written here. So B key is for the overwrite edit. So it will overwrite whatever is on the timeline. So if your playhead is here, it will overwrite that. Now if you hold the command key and drag this, you can move the playhead between edit points. You hold the command or control key in Windows and Mac respectively. If you need to insert a particular clip, so let's try that. So let's try inserting this one. Let's again select an in and out point. And what you have to do is you have to hit the V key. So the V key is the insert edit. So when you hit the V key, what has happened is that this has like pushed the clip to the right side. So it will insert into this and push these clips. Another thing is here in the timeline, you can select the video quality here. If you see that the clips are not showing in a good quality, you can change the quality here. You can zoom in and out of the timeline here using this. So this is your sequence. You can rename that. You can give it a timeline 1. So there is something called as the toggle source record in timeline. So to do that, you need 2 timelines. To create a new sequence, you can right click a new sequence and timeline 2. And let's drag some clips into that. So let's select some more clips. B button. Let's select this and insert it into this. So now what this toggle source record means that you can copy the clips from one timeline into another timeline. To do that, you have to enable this source record. So now you will see that this has become green in color. Now you can open both the timelines in the source and the project windows simultaneously. So now if you double click this, you have opened the first timeline, and here you have opened the second timeline. Now you can drag and drop things from this timeline into that timeline easily. So this is the toggle source record in timeline. Let's take a look at the other tools which you use for editing and moving the clips in the timeline. So if you go to the settings, look into the keyboard shortcuts, you can see that Z and X. So these are the extract and the lift commands. Z is used to lift and X is used to extract. So let's try using them. So they have the buttons here also, the extract and lift. To do that, you have to set a in and out point. So let's set in and out point down. So when you hit the Z key, you can see that that part of the clip has gone and there is a gap in the timeline. So it has deleted that clip and left a gap. Now the same thing, if you hit the lift command, you hit X. Now what happened is that it deleted that portion and it closed that gap. So it is like a destructive command. So it has closed that gap. Now the next thing is the smart tools. So you can see here the segment mode and the trim type. So make sure that you have these two enabled. So you can right click and you can see this, both these arrows here, the trim, and here is the selection. So what this does is, if you go to a clip, you can see that when it is in the top part, it is red in color, and when you move to the bottom part, it's yellow in color. So yellow is destructive, so it will close the gap wherever you move the clip. If you move the clip to this side, you can see that the gap is closed. If you move it with the red color, you can see that there is a gap here. Now let's take a look at how these trim tools work. So if you go to the end of the clip, you can see the same thing, that it turns to red color, but it is a trim mode. If you use the red color and you trim this, you can see that there is a gap in the timeline. If you move to the bottom and if you close that, you can see that the gap is closed. So these are the smart tools. So another keyboard shortcut is the extend. So if you don't see this icon here, you can go to the tools, go to command palette, and under trim you can see this extend. You can drag and drop this into this. So what this does is it will extend the clip after whichever portion you have selected. It will extend this clip to the portion here. So if you hit the extend, you can see that this clip has extended to this out point and left a gap here. So it has expanded to that portion. which you have selected from here. So if you mark in and out point here and hit the extend button, you can see that this clip has extended to that much portion. So the clip after this clip will extend to this much portion. So if you hit the extend button, you can see that this clip has extended to the portion which you have selected. There are several options in this Composer window. So let's take out the different options here. So there is a clip drop down here. So this is the preview window or the source window where you will view the clips. And this is the timeline or the sequence window as mentioned earlier, where you see the clips in the timeline. So you can select different clips here. You can also select the different timelines in the timeline drop down here. You can also clear this menu here, clear menu, also clear this monitor. If you hit the clear monitor, it will clear this. Everything is cleared. So next thing is the time code. So this is V1 TC1 is the time code. So what does this represent? So this is the hour, this is the minutes, this is the seconds, and this is the frames. So every second consists of frames. It will be 30, it will be 24, it will depend on the project. So this is what it is shown here. So if you move this, it will show that this is the 26th second, this is the 34th second and third frame. So you can see this is the time code here. So it is starting from 1. To change this, you can go to sequence report here and then change this to like 0 and then hit cancel, and it will just change whatever is the time code. So you need to apply the changes. And it has changed. The other thing is subclips. So you can see this icon here. This is a subclip. Here you can create a subsequence. So what is a subclip? Subclip is like small portion of the clip, like you said, the in and out point. So if you only need this portion, small portion, you can create a subclip by clicking this button, or you can do this and drag and drop this here into the, so you can see that subclip is created with subclip name and a sub preceding that. Same thing applies to the timeline. If you select a portion of the timeline, so you have already selected this in and out point. So you can click this and a subclip will be created. Subsequence. So a subsequence is created. You can see the difference of the icons here. To add transition between clips, you can go and select this point between two clips and then go to the quick transition button here, and you can click this, and now you can select the type of transition. You can say select the different transition, dip to color, film fade. So let's add a film dissolve and select where it is like starting. Different options you can change, and then just hit the add button. So now you can see that a transition has been added. So if you play through this, you can see that this scene is dissolving to the next scene. You can go in and change that transition settings. So after you have completed the editing, you can export your final file by going to the sequence window here, right clicking, going to publish to. So there are many options here. So you can select the local drive. You can select the format. Now it's QuickTime and the quality. So if you need faster, you can see that the file size is reduced. You have 200 MB if you select the best setting. If you need to directly upload to YouTube, you can go select YouTube, then log in here and give your Google mail ID and password. Same goes to Facebook, Vimeo. So in case you need video only, you can select the video only option also. Change the name of the file here. After you have done everything, you can just hit OK and the file will be exported. You can also set where you want to save the file in your system. Currently it's exporting to the desktop.